All right, today we're going to practice writing our notes with do, do-da-dee, do-dee, quarter rest, and our do. So we're going to add that dotted half note in there as well. So at the beginning of these patterns, we have 6-8 because we are using do-da-dee. So make sure that you have that 6-8 in there. And now what I would like to do is let's start off with that dotted half note. So what we're going to do is you're basically going to start off like you're drawing your dotted quarter note, except don't fill in your note head. Okay, so you still have your note stem, you have your note head, it is not filled in, it is what we called open, and then we have a dot right after it, and make sure the dot comes right after the note head so your pattern is correct. Now, you're going to draw your measure or bar line. Nothing comes after that because it takes up that entire measure. So those counts take up the entire measure. So your next note is actually going to start after that bar line. And the next note I'd like for us to practice is going to be our do-dee. So I'd like for you to draw your quarter note right here. And it's just a plain quarter note, no dots after that. And then you're going to draw your eighth note right here, which is our D. And you draw your flag. So just a reminder, when you're drawing these patterns with do-dee, that do does not get a dot. He does, but he does not. Let's also practice our quarter rest. So let's draw the letter Z and the letter C and put the dot right after. So we have our dotted quarter note right here. We have our do-dee right here, which is our quarter paired with an eighth. And then over here we have our dotted half note. Now let's take a look. Let's go down here. Let's write the pattern in the other direction, just so we have good practice with that. Now I'd like to start this pattern with a do-da-dee. So make sure that we have our note. We have 3 stems, and then we have our note heads right here. All of these 3 are connected by a bar at the bottom. Very good. And let's practice do-dee because that's a tricky note to write in this direction sometimes. So we have our quarter note. We have our eighth note right here with the flag. Remember, the flag has to go on the right, does not go on the left this time. Draw your measure line. And then because a half note takes over an entire measure, we're going to draw our half note right away. So it's basically like drawing a dotted quarter note once again, except we don't fill in that note head. So you have your note stem, your note head that's open, and then you have your dot right after that. And that is how you draw your dotted half notes. Now before I stop the video, I would like for us to practice reading these patterns. Let's start with this note right here. Ready? Here we go. Do-dee. Then next pattern, ready? Do-da-dee, do-dee, do. Very good. Now also in the virtual classroom, I do have a picture of some more patterns. I would please like for you to take some time to practice writing those patterns. You can write it on a plain white piece of paper like I did. You can use whatever writing utensil you have. I used a pen today, just because I've had lots of practice with these notes, but also it's a little bit darker for you to be able to see. You might want to actually start writing with a pencil if you have one, just in case you make a mistake, you can go ahead and fix it instead of crossing it out. If it's a nice day out, you may want to get some chalk and head outside and practice with someone. It's okay. Head outside with some chalk and practice writing the notes out there on the sidewalk or driveway or somewhere that you have some cement that you could write on. So a whole lot of different options, but go ahead and start practicing your notes.